testing transistors with this transistor tester and oscilloscope. Now I just repaired a V2000, a vector monitor V2000, and I'm going to shut this off really quick. I just kind of want to document this a little bit. It had, and I didn't do a repair on this. I kind of wish that I had, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. The symptom of this was the x-axis was squiggly, very squiggly, only on the x-axis, okay? Y-axis looked, everything, the lines looked straight, but on the x-axis, all of the lines were squiggly. The whole damn screen was squiggly. And, yeah, so I replaced some caps. I tested all the values of the resistors. All of that was good. And I had gone through all of the transistors with my transistor tester. I had also used just the meter and diode check and did a complete transistor test on all of the transistors, and they tested good. And everything had a curve, you know, a transistor curve. And so I was like, okay, well, everything must be okay. I put all the transistors back in the monitor. Long story short, squiggles were still there. So I was like, okay, it's got to be transistors. So I just shotgunned the x-axis, all the transistors, all of the x-axis transistors. And the squiggleness was gone. So it was obviously a transistor in the x-axis was bad, because once I replaced them all, there were no more squiggles. So I'm like, okay, I want to go back over these things one last time and really look at the curves on them, the power curves on these transistors, to see if I can see anything that would cause squiggles in the lines, or a failed transistor causing that symptom. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'll go put, long story short, spoiler alert, this transistor right here looks suspect, and I think this was the issue. This is the PNP preamp driver. This is the NPN preamp driver, and this is the PNP. I'm going to go ahead and put the NPN on and show you on the scope what that trace looks like. All right, this is the NPN transistor I have on the tester. And this is, you have to put this over to power. You can see here, just on the instructions, you jump this if it's a power transistor, and you leave it open if it's a small signal transistor. And this one right here, you leave it open if it's NPN, you close it if it's PNP. Pretty self-explanatory. But this is the trace for this transistor. And you can see it's uniform everywhere. And we have these little separations. You'll see these little separations on each of the traces, but they come back together and they form a nice trace like that. I'm not an expert on this. This is something I'm kind of new at. So, but what I'm doing is just going through and finding what to look for when testing transistors, whether they're good or not. So these traces, these curves come out and they come together and they make a nice fork over here. All right, now I'm going to go ahead. I'll put the PNP one on. This one right here, I'll put it on. I got an orange. I'll put this one on. And you'll have to close this. Switch one needs to be closed for PNP. And we'll look at that trace. Okay, I got the PNP transistor now on. You can see that I've closed this because you got to close it for PNP. And here's the trace. And the first thing I notice is this top amplification curve. You see how it doesn't come together right there? So now I know, by looking at that, I know what to look for for flaky transistors. And that right there is, I guarantee you, that is what was causing the squiggles in the X deflection circuit. In the X deflection circuit on the vector monitor. Just that little fault right there in this transistor. So very interesting, very cool. And yeah, so this thing, I didn't really know what to look for. So now I do. And for you guys, maybe this will help you out in your transistor checking. This thing was cheap. I got it on eBay, I'm pretty sure. Just search for transistor tester on eBay. I had to build this myself. I had to build it out, source the parts, I believe. Or it may have come with the parts. I don't quite remember. I think it did come with the parts, to be honest. Maybe. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. I really don't know. So, but yeah, this thing's pretty cool. I really enjoy having this thing. And now that I know what to look for when testing transistors, you know, some of them you'll put them in there and there will be no amplification at all. They're just dead. Or you'll get a fault like this. One of the trace lines, one of the curve lines might do that. It might diverge. And they're supposed to converge and make a nice fork, right? So yeah, coolness. All right, I just wanted to put this together for you. Hope it helps you. I hope this video taught you something, and thanks for watching. And we'll see you on the next Classic Arcade Repair. Bye for now, guys.